This is the device that the whole smartwatch community wanted to see so badly. Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 with Wear OS and the promise to make things in this industry right. But does it? Let's inspect. Alright, welcome back, really nice to meet you. My name is Michael, your tech Mishka, very often inspecting cool tech like this one. So if you like the idea, maybe you can subscribe to the channel, or you can stay until the end of this video, decide if you like the content, and then make the decision whether to subscribe or not, or probably you can just hit the like button in case you like the review and so on. But I'll repeat this once again at the end of this video. Those boring YouTubers, you know, talking about these things all the time, but they do matter for us. Anyhow, we really want to focus now on the Galaxy Watch 4, which is a very interesting smartwatch which promises to address a lot of issues in the smartwatch industry these days, and is the first premium Samsung smartwatch in years which is coming back to the Wear OS world. I'm saying this because the previous generations were based on Tizen OS, which, yes, it has very nice, good-looking, well-working interface, but lacks the possibility to include all the apps from Google's Play Store. So now, Samsung promised to bring all of that, and if you're excited about things like Google Maps, Google Assistant, and all the Google ecosystem, so am I. And it's interesting to see how the Wear OS base is combined with the, I would say, rather nice Tizen OS user interface, because essentially Samsung bring it into Wear OS, how all of that works. And I think there are a few very serious concerns which we should address, and they can potentially turn into deal breakers. As usual, let's see how the watch competes in terms of pricing. It starts from $250 for the regular version without LTE. There also is the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic with rotating bezel. Essentially, the regular Galaxy Watch 4 is successor to the Active line, and the Classic with rotating bezel is successor to the Watch 3 series. I know that it probably sounds kind of weird, and it is. In this particular review, I'm gonna mostly focus on the cheapest possible variation without LTE. Note that this time the LTE and the non-LTE versions have almost the same hardware inside, with the same amount of storage and RAM, unlike the predecessors. Given the fact that the classic version is a lot more expensive, looks like Samsung have been very smart about the pricing, since they're covering a huge price range, from the rather affordable mid-range sector up until the high-end pricing, where Huawei have comfortably settled with their latest Huawei Watch 3 Pro series. Just a comparison, the Fossil Gen 6 starts at $300, TicWatch Pro devices too, so if you want to go cheaper and still count on Wear OS with some limitations, the TicWatch E3 series is the way to go at a price of just $200. The unboxing experience is indeed great. The watch doesn't come in a too fancy box, but this clean and tidy way Samsung present it is great in my opinion. Unlike other vendors, they don't focus on the specs stamped on the box, at least not on the front side. So the watch unit, the charging pad, some papers, and that's pretty much everything you're gonna get from this box. At the first sight, the design of the Galaxy Watch 4 looks quite simplistic. If I didn't know it's Samsung made, maybe I was about to blame it for the plastic case and the lack of design creativity. Construction-wise, the backside resembles the Samsung design from the past two generations, so there doesn't seem to be much of innovation on that end. Shall we go for more of the tech details now? Yeah, a great way to set the expectations right is to explore all the details. There are two sizes for this model, 40 and 44mm, and I'm gonna cover the specs of the latter one. Battery is 361 mAh, chipset, the Exynos W920, 1.5 GB RAM, 16 GB storage, 5 ATM waterproof with military-grade standard compliance, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, NFC, LTE as an option, a bunch of sensors to monitor your health, GPS for navigation, and weighs only 30 grams. We really have high expectations now, because hardware is great, a lot of RAM and a chipset that Samsung have developed specifically for this device, and hopefully is going to be a meaningful competition to Qualcomm's Snapdragon line. The display is gorgeous, as expected. We know that one of the great strengths of the South Korean company is indeed their AMOLED technology, which made its way to the most favorable choice for wearable devices these days. So now, since we know how it looks like and what is inside, let us focus on the software experience. Something I usually don't show, but is a must here because it's different to get to show you the first time setup. It's interesting because Samsung make you use their own apps and not Google Wear OS, which, concerning the initial setup, was just fine and it takes around 5 minutes. As for the smartphone apps, there are still plenty of them required in order to use the full functionality of the watch. You need 5 different smartphone apps, 2 plugins and 3 interface apps, one for management, one for activity tracking and one for health. I hope I'm not the only one to whom this all sounds like an utter nonsense. The menus and the user navigation are also very different to most other Wear OS smartwatches, and I gotta say that even after 4 weeks of daily usage of this user interface, I'm still not quite fascinated about how it works. Yes, there are certain customizations, but unfortunately you can't really remap all the functions to be exactly as the stock Wear OS navigation, because Samsung, just like with the predecessors, they keep this top button to be the home and the back button at the same time, and if you press and hold, it opens Bixby. Are you better than Google Assistant? You can remap the function of the button, however, there is no option to make it show the app list. Speaking of apps, swipe up from the main screen and here they are. The worst part about the apps is the fact that you cannot customize the launcher in a way it would show just a list. So it's icons only with the current software in September 2021. Furthermore, there is one more huge drawback. When you think of Wear OS, you expect Google ecosystem, therefore Google Assistant, but again, Samsung have their own opinion, settling down with Bixby. Besides, the more you scroll, configure and fine-tune the watch, the more you're going to feel as if it's almost the same as Tizen OS. On top of it, I feel like Tizen OS-based devices were actually running smoother. It's true that in some ways the Tizen OS navigation has its good ideas, like the TAUS alignment, this awesome idea about using the sides of the bezel to scroll the bar, something that the Classic Edition can do, by the way, through the mechanical rotating bezel. But in many other ways, I felt like I'm trapped into the way Samsung want us to use the watch. What I'm trying to say is that I'd gladly enjoy some more customization options. There are a few other disturbing issues I could identify, and the keyboard is not as fun as it used to be with the Galaxy Watch 3, but you can at least respond to notifications and customize the default quick answers, so that's something nice to like about it. So are the overall good interface and the usage of the screen. As for battery life, I can't really show you the statistics from the Wear OS app, because it's not supported, although it is a Wear OS based watch. I can share with you my usual achievements. I had to charge the watch once every 36 hours, and I've been using it without GPS, without active on display, and with no SpO2 tracking, since it's only supported with Samsung phones, which was not my daily driver at this time. This is just half of the battery endurance that TicWatch Pro 3 can offer, and worse than the predecessors, not to mention that charging back to full takes good 2 hours. Unbelievable! It's time now to take a look into the other half of the software story and explore the smartphone apps. And I really hate the fact that Samsung make us use a few different smartphone apps in order to get the whole story, because yeah, the smartwatch collects a whole lot of information and it's important to visualize it in a really optimal way. And we're gonna start with the Galaxy Wearable, which is the app mostly used for configuring the smartwatch functionalities. A lot better than the Wear OS native app, so I consider this as a big bonus. Samsung Health is to visualize your sport achievements, calories burned, activities, sleep tracking and so on. It's quite a challenge to keep sleep tracking up to date due to the short battery lifespan, but I managed to do it for a few weeks in a row, and so far really accurate results, matching well the times I go to sleep and wake up. Not sure if the watch can catch daily naps, since I haven't had the chance to try it out. HR is also monitored 24/7. Auto-workouts detection is probably my favorite feature. Don't expect too advanced athlete-oriented settings. Looks like Samsung are targeting the mainstream sports. Jogging, walking, hiking, cycling and so on. And if that has been the goal from the start, well achieved. In order to show you the more advanced settings, I had to switch to a Samsung Galaxy phone and get them enabled. Such a pity that non-Samsung phone users are not able to take advantage of the most exciting new features like SpO2 tracking, blood pressure measuring and detailed analysis of your body composition.
At the end, I'll try to be brutally honest with my summary. If you have a non-Samsung smartphone, I don't see enough of reasons to pay $300 for a limited smartwatch with pretty horrible battery life. If you, however, are already part of Samsung's ecosystem and use one of their phones, then yeah, unlocking SpO2, blood pressure, and many other functions sounds like a good idea. But given the whole picture, I'm afraid that Galaxy Watch 4 doesn't really solve most of the smartwatch issues we wanted to see fixed with Wear OS. Maybe quite the opposite. We seem to get now fragmentation about the different UIs. We get yet another chip maker, obviously not delivering the great performance we all wanted to see, and battery life seems to be even worse than the battery life on Tizen OS. So I don't feel like software updates are going to improve much, except if Samsung reconsider and enable the full feature set for all Android phones. Because at the end of the day, Wear OS's mission, something that Google state themselves, is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful.
Okay, wrapping up this episode with the sponsor of this video, but do not fast forward because it's still related to the review. These are wireless earbuds coming from AceFast. It's the model called T1, one of their latest editions, and you can find more information about it in the description below the video. And thanks very much for sponsoring this episode. So I wanted to show you how you can quickly connect true wireless earbuds to this smartwatch. In no time, you just go to Settings, then you choose Connections, then the first option is Bluetooth, and you can see that the AceFast T1 are already connected. So it's one of the best ways to listen to music and to make phone calls and have better microphone quality and make sure that you hear the other party much better. These earbuds in particular, very decent performance, excellent audio quality, and up to 5 hours playback per charge. And you have, of course, a carrying case, which is right here, which is also a charging station. And again, more info about the AceFast T1 you can find in the description below the video. I think what Samsung did perfectly well through their smartphone apps is the way you can upload photos and audio, audio tracks to the smartwatch, because it's much easier than any other option I knew for Wear OS smartwatches before. But also a lot of drawbacks. This thing with Google Assistant, which I've heard that they promised to fix. I don't really enjoy working with Bixby. And all the other drawbacks, like the lack of customizations, the little glitches here and there, this huge software frustration that comes if you don't have a smartphone made by Samsung, and all the rest that we have reviewed. I really would like to hear what you guys and girls think. Tell me in the comments below, would you go for the Galaxy Watch 4? Or if you already have Galaxy Watch 2 or 3, do you enjoy it? Is Tizen OS any better than Wear OS? So, which is the better option? More customizations or less customizations and more apps? Or whatever you think is the perfect formula for a good, successful smartwatch in 2021, let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, I think it's time to give us a like, subscribe to the channel for more cool tech inspections. I'm Michael. Gotta see you in the next video. Bye.